everybody. I would normally start with the game open right now, but there's a little bit of an opening crawl, it turns out. So I wanted to make sure that I was live, that I wasn't hosting. I believe the inimitable Kilgore Trout is streaming right now. So I want to make sure that that gets taken care of before. For those of you who are way too clocked into this stream, you will know that I actually did a cast earlier today, and that was with Dynamike. I got a chance to show him Stellaris. He did a great job of Jesse Quill. Thank you very much for that, host. I always feel bad when you stream at the start because it's probably the most helpful to me, and yet it is the minimum. It's the period in which you would get the lowest attention to your host. I'm trying to find a way of reconciling that. Elkanu, also, thank you very much for that, host. My most loyal and beloved Twitch friends. Thank you so much. We'll jump in straight away now. Elkanu, I think you were playing this earlier today, were you not? You may not do it for attention, but it's still nice to give credit where credit is due. I mean, for crying out loud, I give plenty of attention to people who annoy me on Twitch. So the very least I can do is acknowledge your host. Hello, Yebedeba, and username intensifies. It's good to see you. Gonna watch me play Observer instead. All right, well, let's jump into the game because I was not expecting so many people. Yeah, not a problem at all, Elkanu. That's the reason why I didn't watch you today, because I knew I was going to play this. So we're live. This is on GOG. I want to take a quick minute here and thank them. They had some keys that were available, so that is the only reason I'm able to play this game right now. If you are interested in it, if you like this game, I know nothing about it. I want to go in totally blind on this. So I just know that it's supposed to be a psychological horror story in a cyberpunk setting. Just keep in mind if you would like to maybe give a little bit of support both to this cast, but also the people who allowed me to get this. GOG was the one who had giving me this key. So there is a link there. You will get it. DRM free copy. This is by Bloober Team. You may remember them from Layers of Fear. I played Layers of Fear, but not the DLC. Inheritance, but it looks like they've transitioned from the Unity engine to the Unreal engine, so I'm kind of curious. Yeah, we're of the same mind, Elkanu. I'm a little curious in terms of if I will notice any difference inside of the gameplay. I'm kind of curious why they made that decision, because Layers of Fear looked great, and it was one of these great examples of how people really don't know what they're talking about when they say that certain engines automatically look better. Anyways, I'm going to shut up.
The year is 2084. If they told me what the world would become, I would not have believed them. First, there was the nanophage, the disease of transition. A digital plague that swept across the land, killing thousands upon thousands of augmented souls. A heavy cost for meddling with our minds and bodies. Then came the war, the big one. The great decimation. The West killed the East killed the West. There were no winners. Except for Kaiwa. The corporation seized power and forged the Fifth Polish Republic, a crooked empire of blood and ash. There was no one left to oppose them. But still, we endured, and so it goes. The rich get richer as the poor rot away in their hovels, desperately looking for ways to escape reality. I am what they fear, a corporate tool of oppression, a despised leech that creeps into your dreams and feeds off your fears. If you don't remember, if you won't remember, that's when they call me, to access you. To gather evidence, to dredge up whatever's hiding in the darkest corners of your mind. My name is Daniel Lazarski. I'm an observer.
Saturday night, folks. Who's ready for partying? All right. Cool start. Very Blade Runner-ish. That's Rutger Hauer's voice. So pretty much wearing its influences straight on its sleeves. Let's jump in.
Lazarski, you there? Come in, Lazarski. Lazarski, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You okay there? I've been hailing you for the past 5 minutes.
I'm fine. I must have dozed off.
No rest for the wicked. How's the dream meter treating you?
Well, I'm not a vegetable yet.
Could have fooled me.
Alrighty, hard.
I'm serious, Dan. Your signal's all over the place. Have you taken your meds?
How do I... Oh.
Not in a while.
Do it now. I need you in good shape.
Yes.
There you go. Looking better already.
Yeah, wouldn't want me to mess up. Can you see the headlines? Another leech goes berserk.
Don't be like that. It's just...
Yeah. What's this about? Just checking in, or you need me downtown?
Nah, just a checkup. No one left for you to interrogate.
Sounds pretty bad.
Yep, it's not pretty. The explosion leveled half a block. The place is still on fire. Corporate goons all over the place, securing the area.
Covering your tracks, you mean?
Careful what you say. This is a monitored channel.
Who is this? How'd you get this frequency?
Don't you recognize me?
Adam?
Yes. Well, what's left of me? Dad.
What happened? Where have you been all this time?
Away from you? It's funny. Thought it would be easier to hear your voice after all these years. But it really isn't.
Come on, Adam, don't start.
I really thought I could pull it off, you know? I was so close to making a difference, to setting us all free. And now it can't be for nothing.
Doesn't matter. Tell me where you are. I'll come and get you.
Shit. Dad, for once in your life, just listen to me. Whatever happens, I need you to remember, you're not in control.
Adam, can you hear me? You still there? Adam? God damn it.
Dad? Dad?
Matriarch, display caller ID.
Displaying now.
Krabinsky. That's new. Matriarch, locate source of last call.
Triangulating coordinates.
Come on.
Location established. Tenement building. Class C district.
Jesus. Adam, the stacks. You just had to hit bottom, huh? Rock fucking bottom.
Now we begin a Nine Inch Nails video. So it's kind of interesting we keep returning, like they've presented the opening title the same way a couple of times. I'm wondering if this is going to be sort of a recurring, like basically you're going to have a bunch of different flashbacks which kind of come up that same way. Join us now. Hard work and patience is all it takes to achieve a civic status upgrade. This is so interesting to see sort of, like I'm assuming these might be maps, but in some cases too, like when you walk in here, it almost looks like this is supposed to be a building with sort of like, you know, a nice interior projected on it, but the data file's been corrupted. And that could be what it is too. Pollux, overworked? Don't lose your head. The new Pollux personal computer is both powerful and user-friendly. Catch your breath, spend some time with your family. Let your electronic counterpart share the load.
Hey! Need to get out.
Easy there, Tin Man. I'm not looking for trouble.
Oh, tenant? Huh?
What? No. Family.
Family. No. Tenant?
Sort of.
Name?
Grabinski. Leon Grabinski.
Tenant. Oh. Apartment 7. Ground floor. Through the courtyard. Turn right, turn left. Straight ahead, turn right.
Yeah, I got it. Backwards and forwards. Thanks.
Door open.
I'm assuming the middle mouse button is what lets me see my case log. Hold left mouse button and push the door. Macron 6 tattoo gun, laser precision, stellar performance, out of this world quality, down to earth price. The state-of-the-art holographic display offers virtual reality grade immersion. The mighty processor will handle even the most complex calculations. The kinetic interface allows for maximum comfort and efficiency. The Polymath 31A. Erato, impeccable sound recording quality, even under the harshest conditions. Okay, I'm not going to read all the advertising. Or maybe I will. I don't know. But
Attention citizens. Curfew is now in effect in all Class C districts. Remain in your apartments and enjoy your chosen holographic content. Thank you for your cooperation.
I completely forgot the the directions. Nope. Well, good news is it won't let me up, so. Yeah, it's a really great looking game. I'm really interested in this idea of the wall textures, probably most of all, but. It's almost... It's almost a little bit like the Black Mirror episode 10 Million Merits, where the walls were sort of the walls were all projectors. And again, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to cover up the squalor of the place by covering the covering it with projections, and it's corrupted.
What the hell?
They're here. They've come for us. Help me. You need to.
Adam? Oh my God.
Abnormal stress levels. Heart rate irregular. Administering mild sedative.
Dispatch, this is Lazowski, ID 656210. Can anyone hear me? Great. Just fucking great. Okay, Dan. Maybe it's not him. Doesn't have to be.
Operational efficiency restored.
This is Lazowski 656210, setting up a crime scene. I need to check the victim's compass for connections. 6 million volts wasn't enough. HN. Gotta start somewhere.
I didn't quite follow it. The last call. Consumer-grade communication device. Illegal modification detected. Heavy encryption.
Victim is equipped with an ID mixer. Identification not possible. Damn it.
Oh, this is kind of interesting. So I think the idea here is that there's electricity in the wires, so that's going to be playing with my device.
Erratic cutting pattern, indicating the killer was in a frenzy. Controlled substance 45F, better known as feed. You'd never touch this, Gwen.
Yeah, so I've never played Batman, but one of the things that I liked about what I saw of the detective modes was it actually bothered to deal with the fact that Batman was a detective, that he solved crimes in addition to kind of beating the crap out of people, and as a vigilante. So I like this idea. I mean, a lot of sort of
Bingo.
I'm not gonna. I will wait for that. So a lot of these cyberpunk stories tend to have some kind of detective element to them, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I'm trying to think why it's something about the. I mean, I guess it's a good vehicle for sort of dealing with, it's a good way to sort of show what the world is like.
Never cared about this stuff.
So what does it say?
A hidden data storage. The encryption is too complex for my hacking tool. I'm taking it with me. Might be able to decode it later.
But anyways, I like the fact that, so obviously when you do cyberpunk in a game, it's a little bit harder to try and come up with a series of detective mechanics. I kind of like the fact that But I mean, in the case of a horror game, you kind of get a little bit more like that. Like if you think about it, Outlast has a journalist as its protagonist, and sort of you are encouraged to go around and pick up documents so you can learn a little bit more about what's going on. So there's sort of a few opportunities to do things in these worlds, which again I like. Like I like this kind of stuff. But anyways, I think I've done the bio in this place. I sort of want to double check it all. I want to do a pass on each one. Something tells me I'm going to be fairly meticulous on.
So this is your apartment. Doesn't mean it's your body.
Oh, can I not turn that off? Okay. Notice we're blocked out, obviously. The different vision styles is a really nice touch too. Like that's quite fun to look at. Okay, so I think we've basically interacted with everything we can here. Leave it as we found it. Don't want to be suspected of murder or anything. I kind of talked about this during Amnesia. One of the things that I like about the mechanics, so I think this is part of the genre now at this point. But to be able to, like, having a world in which you manipulate these hinges and stuff like that, right? It creates, basically you get invested in the world, like you're taking some effort to kind of get pushed in, and or like you're exerting effort on things. You're getting invested in it, which I find kind of, for me at least, I find it interesting, and I find it something that makes me more engaged. It's one of the reasons why I think the suspense works so well in this sort of thing. But it did also lead...
Printed on real paper. Bit archaic for you, Adam.
By the way, you know the actual name for this book is NINTEEN space EIGHTY dash FOUR. There's a lot of books now which don't call it by the proper name. Okay, so there's something underneath here that I should be interested in. It's actually kind of neat, so you get to detect different things in the apartment this way. Oh, I get it. Just, okay. I must be missing something here, because clearly it's pointing me when I go a certain distance. That or it's just not important. Okay, anyways. I think we have done this to death. So I think they said this game's like 7 hours, but of course with the System Shock playthrough it's probably going to be like 24. So I'm a little curious if you do the bio view. No. I was thinking the bio view might show you what buttons he pushed, but that'd be a little easy. Hello, Billy Thale. By the way, sorry guys, I'm not doing a good job of sort of interacting with chat, but I don't want to. I kind of don't want to talk over, over sort of. I don't want to talk over the game. Okay, so if I'm supposed to open that, there should be something inside this apartment that tells me what the code is. Lockdown is triggered in the apartment's auxiliary security system. My forensic vision might help me find a way to deactivate it. I need to find the woman who tried to contact the victim. She might be still in the building. Her Compass ID was HN. Ah.
Synchrosine collected.
Okay, nothing else in the bathroom. So I mean, I can always just push random buttons, but that doesn't seem to be how I'm supposed to do this puzzle. Nope. There's police lights out out in front of the apartment building. I'm like, oh man, this is really, really immersive. I was like, nope, I'm just not paying attention. Okay. So it's not going to be on anything that I've seen before, because in the previous evidence. Shapeshifter 979, thank you very much for the follow. So my thinking is this: like, there's no way for me to review the evidence that I found before. So if it was written on like one of the objects, presumably I should be able to see that. You know what? I'll go for a wild stab in the dark. Are there any 4s that... Nope. Oh.
There we go.
I just wasn't thinking. Downtown Inferno, tragic accident or insurgent attack? Listen, I know you're a busy man and all, but we gotta talk. Now. I think they're on to me. For real this time. I'm almost certain someone followed me home yesterday, and today I saw this weird guy outside my window, just standing there. If you can't guarantee my safety, then I'm out. I got enough problems as it is. HN. Complications. As far as our little mule goes, don't worry, I can manage her. She's not like us. She knows she's in over her head, and it clearly terrifies her. You can't just expect too much from a simple mind. For now, just focus on your work and leave the human relations aspect of our project to me. For the time being, calm down and maintain focus. Eyes on the prize. Jay. P.S. Glad you like the piece. I think it captures the essence of what we're trying to accomplish. Oh, here we go. Down at Inferno. Tragic accident or insurgent attack? Emergency services are still on the scene after an immense explosion tore a hole in what was once a serene business area of downtown Krakow. The blast is now thought to have originated at a Chiron Incorporated Research and Development Center. Although a joint search effort has been launched by the KPD and corporate personnel, the rescue team scouring the site are yet to find any survivors among the rubble. The exact number of casualties is yet to be calculated, but according to our sources, no high-ranking Chiron official was injured in the tragic event. As to what caused the explosion, early reports suggested a reactor malfunction, but a corporate executive who wishes to remain anonymous had his own ideas on the subject. We're not excluding anything at this point, but this has terrorist written all over it. It is precisely the sort of cruel and cowardly tactics the anti-Republican insurgents excel at. We'll have an official statement on the matter shortly. If the insurgents were indeed behind this vicious attack, their goals remain a mystery. The center conducted civilian research, focusing primarily on developing new and improved neural links to other consumer products. It seems that whatever third party was involved, their sole purpose was to wreak havoc and destruction, striking fear into the hearts of the public at large. When asked to comment, Police Inspector Robert Paluca gave a prompt and stern reply. Chiron executives have provided their full support in dealing with the situation. He then retreated to his squad car, clearly distraught by the events of the day. We will bring you more on this story as it develops. By the way, guys, I feel like a moron for taking that long to figure out the code. Corrupted data.
I've deactivated the apartment security system, leaving the crime scene.
I think one of the things that's happened to me is I've gotten so used to a lot of games which are based on the experience, not expecting me to invest a whole lot on a given puzzle. But one of the things that I think Bloober Team does very well is not letting you, like, retire your brain. Like, you do actually need to work through some, like in Layers of Fear, you actually needed to think a little bit about what was going on in the scene, and it wasn't always obvious. I generally like that, although it does make me feel like a bit of a moron whenever I don't get something right away.
Synchrosine refilled. Synchrosine refilled.
Can I not retract it?
This just doesn't feel right. You're still alive. I know it.
Instruction.
This is Tom.
And Irene!
We hope you're having a positively peachy day.
Oh, we sure do!
Sadly, we're not in right now. But you can leave your message after the beep, and we'll get back to you as soon as we're home.
Yay! Oh, I mean, beep!
I'm thinking Adam decapitated himself after hearing that message.
What do you want?
Got a minute, sir? KPD.
Oh God, they're here! The cleaners are here!
KPD, I need to talk to you.
Get away from me, man. I got a piece on me, and I ain't afraid to use it.
No, you don't. Now calm down. I'm just looking for some answers.
Oh, I know how you get your answers. I got nothing to tell you.
I think I've been through these ones already. I can't recall. I don't remember this gap being here, so I'm trying to come up with a systematic way to do my interrogations, but... Oh, that's really neat. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I thought the light, I thought it was moving as I went through. I'm like, I can see that working if everybody's kind of wired up with everybody.
KPD, I need to ask you some questions.
Do you know what's going on? My holo projection got cut off. I can't get a signal.
The building is under lockdown. No external connection. Not much we can do.
Shit. Sounds serious. So, you wanted to ask me something?
Do you know who lives in apartment 7?
7? I didn't even know anyone lived there. Hey, you wouldn't happen to know when they're gonna fix the connection. Not that it's like super important to me or anything. I just need to know.
You just take it easy. I'm sure someone is already working on it.
Oh, good. It's just that it feels weird to just sit here, alone, with my thoughts. You know, can you talk to me some more? It makes it kind of easier.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, you know, Gorski the Giant was fighting Killer Cromer today. You an AMA fan?
Not really. Sounds like you are.
Of course I don't know who won since my projector went out. Why are my hands shaking?
You been living here long?
Oh, well, it must have been at least 7 or 8 years.
Ever had a lockdown before?
I don't think so. I don't remember my projector going off. Ever.
I don't really want to say this to him, but...
Sorry, I don't have time for this.
Oh, okay. I understand. It's no problem. I'll just sit here, alone. God, I'm really starting to sweat like a pig.
Hang in there.
Hey, you there. Come here, quick.
What is it?
What's up with the lockdown? Is it the phage? Was there an outbreak?
A malfunction, more likely.
You would say that, wouldn't you? To keep us at bay until the cleaners come. Oh, God, they're coming for me. I don't want to die.
Calm down. No one's coming.
So one of the things that I like about this world, one of the challenges that I think a lot of cyberpunk stories run into is that these stories come out of sort of Philip K. Dick stuff, a lot of you know, a lot of movies and games really take the art style of Blade Runner and then get credit for being incredibly innovative, even though these are very old films now. I mean, not in like the history of cinema, but like it's, you know, like this is a style that's been very well established. One thing I like about this world is that they're dealing with sort of the so like when you read Neuromancer, and even like William Gibson himself said this, is that, you know, if you're a modern reader reading Neuromancer, you're going to be really confused why the main character is like looking for their friend and doesn't call them on a cell phone, because of course in think it was 1984 that was written, maybe late 70s. Anyways, like that stuff wasn't invented yet. That wasn't really an idea. Like he coined the term cyberspace and yet did not sort of have the idea of sort of a portable communications device in that future, at least one that would be sort of commonly held by people. And so I kind of like the fact that here, I mean, obviously this is a social media thing, right? Like I mean, I'm at a point now where I use apps to order my food, so I have to keep, you know, minimum contact with as many people, and I can stay home all that I want. But I sort of like the fact that they've definitely kept the aesthetic. They've definitely kept, you know, the inequality that was present in that. But they've at least sort of modernized a few of the ideas. So I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I was hoping I'd be able to open it up and see what goes on.
Hey, PD, I need to talk to you.
You broke it. No, you broke it. Nuh-uh.
Will you get these kids to shut up? I'm fucking talking here. Yeah, what's this about?
Do you know the tenant in apartment 7?
Dad, Tommy's picking on me. Shut up, snitch.
I thought I told you to shut up. 7, huh? Nah, can't say that I know the guy.
Okay, so it's a guy.
Yeah, well, seen him once or twice. I might have a vague recollection.
Could you give me a vague description?
Maybe. What's it to you?
Police business. Just answer the question, and I'll get out of your face.
So that's how it's gonna be, huh? Why don't you knock on that door and see for yourself?
Can you describe him or not? I don't have time for games.
All right. Younger fellow, probably in his 20s.
Wow. Anything else?
Nah, I never really got a good look at him. Medium height, medium build. He was just kinda there, you know?
Have you seen anything suspicious around the building? Any strangers skulking around?
Nah, I don't pay much attention to the other tenants. Bunch of losers. A lot of...
You are so dumb. Not as dumb as you are. Nuh-uh, you're way dumber.
Shut the fuck up!
Not upstanding citizens like you.
You bet your ass. Good thing we'll be getting out of this dump soon.
Is that right?
Yep, I've been working my way up. I even filed for a status upgrade. Once that goes through, we'll be moving to a B-class district in no time.
Yeah? Good luck with that.
This is another interesting thing about this setting too. So obviously the fact that there's a Chiron corporation, Poland has its history of, you know, a communist government, and of course now it's transitioned. It's had a capitalist economy, obviously one that has led to us getting a couple of very good companies, right? You've got CD Projekt Red, which CD Projekt owns GOG, and of course made the Witcher games. Bloober Team is Polish, and so in this case you've got some good products, like things that I want to import. Of course now you have very authoritarian forces sort of moving into this country. What's so interesting about this one is you have this idea, again, it definitely seems to be pushing the idea of, you know, widening divide. And if a corporation's sort of running everything, then presumably you have this idea of a more capitalist society, or at least something in which there is something resembling a market. And yet you still have this concept of sort of social status, social stratification, and your Class B dwellings, which is obviously the sort of thing that you would normally associate with a, you know, a Soviet-style country. It's really interesting to see. I don't know if that's part of just the, you know, the DNA, the fact that it takes place in Krakow, or or if that's a conscious choice or what, but it's a really neat touch. I'm gonna assume anything that might have a person inside probably won't let me in.
Synchrosine collected.
Should probably give this a minute before I just want to make sure I've exhausted my options. I think I have, so. Oops. Kinda Toys. Attention parent, your child can't touch a hologram. The latest series of educational kinetic toys will help improve their imagination and central nervous system. It's another fun one. One thing that will never change about marketing is a constant appeal to parents' protective elements. So, or sorry, parents' protective tendencies. So. Your kid will be dumb if they don't learn what really physical things feel like. Your Kim, before the holograms came out, I'm sure it's like your kid will be dumb if you don't give them access to this new technology.
Come to the door, please. Just want to talk.
Who are you? Did Chiron send you?
I'm with the KPD, if that's what you're asking.
Seriously? We haven't had a cop around these parts in... ever, I guess.
Well, you've got one now.
Yeah, good luck. You're gonna fucking need it.
Okay, so apparently there's nothing else waiting for me on these apartments, but I'm still gonna take a peek. I've already got the polymath advertisement. Neat. Okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit before I go there.
Janitor left the door open.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the apartment instead. This is another neat idea too, conserving space through having things come down from the roof. Voices from below. Don't. Of course, this is a stupid idea to do. There could be other people in that room, and I'm sitting there looking at a. The following message cannot be delivered by to one or more recipients. Content blocked by ChiroNet Firewall. Diagnostic ID 9314780. Original message. My dear Annie, by the time you read this, I will no longer be among the living. The details are not important. Just know that I went out on my own terms. I won't ask for a proper burial. God knows you don't owe me anything by the time the cleaners are done with the place. I doubt there'll be anything left of me to bury. Just know that, for all my faults, I have always loved you, just like I loved your mother. When the disease took her, a part of me died that day. Simple displays of affection became a foreign concept, a painful reminder of what I had lost. It does not justify what I've put you through, but it is the truth. I'm so happy you've managed to get out of this hellhole and find someone worthy of your love. I wish you both all the best. Love, Dad. Voices from below. Don't believe her lies, the plague is still out there. Fellow undesirables, if you're up to date with Chiron propaganda, you've probably heard our so-called Minister of Health spout another gem of corporate wisdom. For those of you who didn't, let me get you up to speed. To all those who have given into insurgent fear-mongering, I say again, there is absolutely no need for concern. The nanophage is no longer a threat. We have contained the glitch and thus freed ourselves from the disease. Loyal citizens who support responsible augmentation have nothing to be afraid of. 3 words, bull fucking shit. Let me tell you how things really are. Unless you're one of the lucky Class A fucks with a new, shiny new set of mods, in which case you're probably not reading this, the nanophage is still very real. We've had at least 3 confirmed cases in the past year, one of which led to a small-scale outbreak. Luckily, we managed to contain it before it spread beyond control. Now, you might think 3 cases ain't nothing to get excited about. If so, I can tell you that you've never been in an outbreak. For most of us cooped up in Class C districts, even a single instance is one too many. Okay, so what the hell are we supposed to do? First and foremost, it's better to prevent than cure. Given the phage recovery rate, these words should be considered gospel. Once the plague hits, it's usually too late. So if you want to stay safe, look for these symptoms. 1. Fever. Pay attention to even the slightest bumps in body temperature. The phage starts off slow, barely more noticeable than the flu. So if you're feeling a bit under the weather, get your ass to a local clinic and run a scan. Better safe than sorry. 2. Implant irregularities. This is where it gets tricky. Assuming that, like most of us, you can't afford to run regular mod maintenance, you've probably gotten used to the odd jolt in your neural implant or the slight spasm in your artificial arm. However, if these start to occur at an increased rate, you need to check yourself. 3. Erratic behavior. Every once in a while, try to look away from the projector and take a gander at your neighbors. If any of them are acting weirder than usual, babbling to themselves, walking crooked, there might be something afoot, assuming you're not drunk or high. A bit of civic awareness won't kill you. A lack of it might. 4. Juncture inflammation. Okay, so the skin on the base of your implants turns red and starts to itch. Our bad news is you might be infected. The good news is it's not a death sentence. Our clinics have performed numerous extraction surgeries and, unlike the corporate cleaners, most of our patients tend to leave the operating room alive. As long as there's no nanite punctures, it's still not too late. If there are, you're most likely too busy hallucinating and puking blood to notice. If you spot any of these symptoms in yourself or anyone in your neighborhood, contact one of our clinics. If you don't know how to find us, ask around. We've got eyes and ears all over C districts, so chances are we'll find you. Now, here's what you definitely don't want to do. 1. Don't panic. Chances are it's still not the phage. We've had dozens of false reports on alleged outbreaks that turned out to be a nasty case of pigeon flu or an odd implant gone haywire. 2. Don't be an idiot. In the last couple of months, we've had dozens of incidents of violence aimed at suspected carriers. Guess what? Didn't solve anything. Once the disease takes root, we're all in this together. 3. Do not report it. I cannot stress this enough. The cleaners are not your friends. They're not coming to help you. Best case scenario, they'll lock down the entire building and go through it with a fine-tooth comb, using the outbreak as an excuse to confiscate, quote, subversive materials and detain any, quote, undesirables. Worst case scenario, the ones they don't slaughter outright will end up as guinea pigs for Chiron R&D. If it comes to that, do yourself a favor and pack it in. Jump out a window, blow your brains out, doesn't matter how, just make it last. You won't thank me later, but you'll regret it otherwise. With fire and sword, spiders! Those bloody spiders again! Haha, I'm kicking this game's ass. No. Haha! This will be more challenging. I see how this works. Alright, so we gotta Benny Hill this. Oh, is that all? I can't go to level 3? Ha ha! Ha! I guess I don't want me spending too much time playing the game. Jess knows a little thing about my preferences. I really like glitching. So as I do this and I get to see the kind of the visual distortions, it makes me tingly in all the right places. Wait a minute, I can't open this? Remove your implant.
Fuck.
I don't know what happened. Janusz Strakowski. Dear Mr. Strakowski, while we greatly appreciate your exemplary service and the sacrifices you have made for your country, the VRI policy enforces a strictly proactive stance on helping our brave veterans reintegrate with society. Regular coverage requires a deed of permanent B-class employment presented to our representative on an annual basis. Your current janitorial position simply does not qualify. Given these circumstances, we must sadly deny your claim and are therefore forced to terminate your participation in the program, effective immediately. As of today, the Veteran Pension Fund will no longer cover periodic maintenance of your cybernetic prosthetics. We wish you all the best. The Veteran Rehabilitation Initiative. This is an automated message. Please do not reply. So I think that's the guy at the start. Enough is enough. All right, this has gone on long enough. Veteran or not, I don't give a crap anymore. One message and I'll find you and beat the fucking junk out of you. My mother can no longer take this shit. She's sick of telling you over and over that her husband, my father, died 18 years ago. She's moved on. We all have. No one wants to live in the past, to constantly relive a tragedy. So for the last time, Mike Jaworski is dead. He's been dead for a long time. Have someone type that into your busted ass head of yours. I don't care how you do it, just fucking remember this time, even if it's toss up between this and remembering when to take a dump, because next message you send her will earn you a broken fucking jaw. Consider this your final warning. The wall stands tall. Our brave boys and girls continue to defend us from the eastern hordes. A shot rings out in the dark. Michael, the young soldier next to me, immediately turns towards the wall. The intensity of his gaze sends chills down my spine. Without a second thought, he runs up to the wall, an imposing colossus of concrete and steel. He mounts it in a single leap, using his state-of-the-art leg augmentations, a little gift bestowed upon our troops by the Chiron R&D department. The scout aims his rifle into the inky blackness. His cybernetic eyes scour the horizon for any signs of the enemy. Stern and resolute, his comrades hold their breath, waiting for him to say the word. What will it be this time? A soul scavenger, or a full-on assault from one of the numerous raiding parties that scour this unholy land? When he finally speaks, I cannot help but shudder from the sheer intensity of what is transpiring. All quiet. All quiet on the Eastern Front. At least for now. Guarding the wall can be a daunting task, Mikhail confesses in the following morning, but it's also a privilege. The other soldiers gathered in the cantina nod their heads in approval. Mikhail introduces me to his squad members, some of which are on their second or third tour of duty. Several from him shakes later, the soldiers regale me with stories of their service, each one more breathtaking than the last. When I ask what drives them to such acts of heroism, Mikhail lowers his head and responds in a slightly embarrassed tone of voice. I don't think anyone here considers themselves a hero. I know I don't. The way we look at it, we're all part of something much greater than ourselves, something that began with our fathers fighting in the Big One. Ah yes, the Big One. Such an unassuming name for the greatest conflict of our times, the one we all know as the Great Decimation. A name given not to belittle, but to simplify. A desperate attempt to make sense of this unprecedented tragedy, during which many of our nation's finest gave all there was to give in defense of our way of life, nay, our very existence, from the barbaric hordes of the East. And yet out of this cauldron of conflict, this baptism of fire, we have emerged victorious. And while our old world was engulfed in flame, in its ashes we have built our great republic. To all the heroes that gave their lives and health in the Great Decimation, we salute you. While the soldiers' dedication is undeniable, their service is made much more bearable due to the contributions from the Board of Defense and Chiron's top scientists. Mikhail is quick to agree. If it wasn't for the corporate government, some of us could not have made it this long. Take these babies, for example, he says, while affectionately patting his glistening leg prosthetics. Without them, I would be a cripple, wasting away in some hospice, unable to serve my fellow citizens. Thanks to Chiron, I can fill my role in our great society. Spoken like a true patriot. And let us not forget that Chiron takes care of our brave men and women off the field of battle. Our ongoing veteran rehabilitation initiative ensures that soldiers who are no longer able to serve can reintegrate into society so they lead rich and fulfilling lives once their glory days are behind them. Ah, this is good. Okay, so we're going to look for, I think it was an HG. I don't have any H's, so... Ah, there we go.
2 agents. Helena Novak, apartment 104, and Hannah Nader, apartment 106. Both on the same floor.
Oh, are there more levels of this thing? Those bloody spiders again! Alright. I was not smart about how I did that, but I think I can recover it. Okay. So I definitely need to clear... It's the same trick as last time. Ah, Jesus!
Not a good idea to sneak up on me, you know. Need to get out. Police business. I know what I'm doing.
I know what you are.
Oh, yeah?
Back during war, took one alive. Sent for one of you to get into his head.
If you're worried I'm gonna snap, don't be. They don't even let us carry guns anymore.
Not worried. Past worry. Past most things.
Yeah, well, actually, see, it's the game was actually really effective in taking my guard down, right? Because I've already closed the door, didn't hear any door open, and obviously, like, I can play that spider game as often as I want. So yeah, that totally caught me off guard.
You fought in the big one. Is that why you got all this junk in you?
Plasma sweep. Hit our convoy. Barreled through armor.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring back memories.
Yes. Memories.
Thing is that everybody, this is the funny thing, is like, the fun thing about stream, I really shouldn't do this during this dialogue scene, but because we're in a small break on it. The stuff that happens during a live cast when everybody's like, oh yeah, that was really great, doesn't always make a good clip. So, you know, obviously it's really rare for me to be surprised during a game like this. So, you know, I'm sure there's like however many clips get generated or whatever from that. And then, like, I'm assuming the line goes something like...
Low synchronization.
All right.
Administer Synchrozine.
What can you tell
I'm
me
gonna shut
about
up
the
and...
tenant in apartment 7?
Hey, Ponce.
Tenant?
Yeah, tenant. How long has he been living there?
Yeah. Maybe longer.
Did
Not
I...
good with time.
You ever talk to him?
Didn't get out much. None of them do.
All right, Tin Man. Let me know if it comes back to you. Something triggered the lockdown.
Trying to get it open. Rudy and I.
You think it might be the nanophage? You had any recent outbreaks?
No. Last one. Long time ago. Down by the river. All the implants. Bad. The implants.
I take it Rudy's the robot?
Multifunction service and maintenance drone. Don't lose it.
What?
Wanders off. Sometimes. I need to track manually.
Can we lift the lockdown from the inside somehow? Or get a message out?
No. Keep people in. Isolate, accommodate, alleviate.
Yeah, we all know how that last one used to work. All right, I'm heading out. Can you give me full access to the building?
Caution. Low synchronization. Administer synchrosine.
Unstable. Unlocked. What I could.
Thanks. You better stay here. There might be some very nasty people out there.
Nasty. Bad.
Look, just stay safe. You know what? I never got your name. I'm Dan.
Name? Janus. Like a Roman god. You know.
Sorry I gave you a hard time earlier. Good to meet you. Janus.
It's probably times for some shoutouts. But yeah, anyway. Oh, so you know what? I guess the green bar going up means that I've got... Hello, Eyes of Sin.
Injected. Strain level decreased.
So yeah, it's really neat that you get the glitching as your synchrosine is down. I want to take a quick look here and see whether or not it's... Okay, so this tells me nothing about my level, apparently. I should take a minute here. Okay, just because apparently I've got some time-based thing. Quick word for everybody. So yeah, the clip thing I was just going to say, like, again, it's fun. Everybody can talk about it. Would make the worst possible clip. If you do it, fine. I'm not going to retweet it. Let's talk about some people who are casters in chat. We've got Jessie Quill, who started off with a host. Lovely lady. I got a little bit of encouragement to stream this with her, so she is partially responsible for the reason why I'm casting this tonight. Currently doing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which I think has very similar themes in terms of dealing with the psychology of the main character. Definitely a little more action-oriented than this one, which is a bit more of a pure story, but I'm definitely very interested in this so far. El Canu, who's also playing Observer right now, definitely being quite a bit quicker about it, I suspect, than I am, so I don't think he has to have any worry about any spoilers on this cast. And then we have got Ponce, who is currently streaming a lot of Absolver, which has nothing to do with Observer. Ponce is, I don't want to call him a former League of Legends streamer, but he's definitely done a lot more, a little bit more variety over time, and it's given us some great material to watch. So I'm very happy that I get to see some more stuff from him. I'm curious, guys. I mean, obviously I'm taking my time going through this game, but what do you guys think of this so far? I'm quite enjoying this. Ah, okay, we're back here. Just want to take a quick look around otherwise. Yes, I will say if it's going on your wish list, if you buy it through that link, there is a little bit that goes towards the cast. Obviously, I cannot make people use it, but I will point out that GOG were the good people who gave me a key for this, and more importantly, you get a DRM-free copy. So I always think that is sufficient for me to be interested in the game. Now, Ponce, have you heard of this at all? I don't know if you ever played a game called Layers of Fear, but this is the next game by the company that made it, Bloober Team. Interesting. See, I always like exploring places which I don't think are close to the objective that I need to do, but it always leads me to kind of go down this rabbit hole, so... This is one that's screaming for an electromagnetic analysis, but... Oh. Ha ha! I'm smart with puzzles. Oh, for God's sake. Alright. I'm probably going to need to look for more stuff before I can make any progress on that. Now, one thing I will say, I'm not 100% sure on some of the retro gear. Because if this is supposed to take place in 2087, I'm not entirely sure what the... Like, it's... I don't know what Poland is like, but I refuse to believe that in 2017, dial-up is anything but like a very direct choice that somebody is making. And I could be wrong on that. But I've never been crazy about games that do sort of take the Blade Runner aesthetic, doing things like removing cell phones, because Blade Runner didn't have cell phones or something like that. Like the compliments that I give over this are things which are, you know, dealing with an increasingly disconnected world through technology, through the VR ideas. I like those things because they're modern themes. I mean, in some ways, right, it's a little bit like those really annoying things that you see your super edgy friends on Facebook post, like, this is what the zombie apocalypse looks like, with everybody looking at the phones. And then, of course, you have... Wait, but I already have maintenance access. Oh, hang on. No, I don't, because it asked me to download software. So, and then, I mean, again, you've got the... oh, can I not? I can't leave that screen. And I can't do the manual reset. But yeah, so I mean, and the funny thing is that if you look at the fears of the papers, which is, you know, the clever friend will usually put up in response to the phone thing, this is as old as Plato, talking about how the technology of writing will make people forgetful and make society worse. So they will always have these kinds of fears about technology. But, you know, I threw up a lot of the settings, but I am noticing a little bit of stuttering as I go in between levels, so... But again, there's interesting ways of dealing with the effects of there's interesting ways of sort of dealing with the effects that technology has on our lives, and there are points where you're just sort of taking a really popular aesthetic and... Okay, I'm gonna just quickly adjust. I'm gonna take this off of custom and I'm gonna just go straight to high. I don't think you'll notice any differences, but I think it's gonna get rid of any of those. It's gonna get rid of any of those stutters. But yeah, I just think there's a... I'm also utterly perplexed as to why I can't go through this this wall or this door. Just hang in there, buddy. Oh, hello. But yeah, so whenever there's, like, so when I look at the car and it's got sort of these 1980s, like, wireframe drawings on it, I'm kind of like, well, why did... This wasn't here before. Or if it was, I didn't notice it. So the question I always have for moments like that are, okay, so what happened between 2017 and 2084 that caused us to move backwards in technology? What was it that that made this made us go back to dial-up, for instance. And there's arguments to be made for it, and maybe they'll be presented inside the game, but I think most of the times that I've interrogated stories that that do that sort of thing, it just tends to be, it's like, well, it looks cooler if we, if we can pay homage to Blade Runner, and I've never thought that's been a good reason. It's usually not a good answer, because if you establish a convention of being able to... If you establish a convention of being able to do something, or like, basically if it... So like, if you have blue doors and you've been able to open all blue doors and all of a sudden you can't open the other blue door, like later on in the game, you usually want to have a good reason why. So... Or at the very least, you should sort of have like the option. So in this case here, right, it's saying, well, I can try to open it, but it doesn't really... In this case, it's just sort of saying, okay, well, I'm not going to let you... I'm not going to let you open this particular one because it's locked, but I always have the chance. Anyways, I think probably what I should start doing is I will... Curfew applies to everyone. I think what I'll start doing is heading sort of straight towards... I'm going to start heading straight towards the places that I'm sort of expected to be going to. So I think it was 106, 107? 106, 104. We will, well, so much for that. Hotel Dieu, capsule compartments, heavenly comfort for the whole family. I'm assuming that probably by completing some of the story-based stuff, I'm going to be able to, like the shadow, I'm going to figure out what I need to do with those maintenance. I'm assuming the maintenance will allow me to get through the front door. I wish there was a flashlight. See, that was a jump scare that didn't get me. And the big difference was I wasn't in the safe place that was created by the spider game. The spider game is astonishingly disarming. I thought that was actually really clever. Interesting. Hello, robot. Thank you. You might be in and out here. You have unlimited data, but you're a passenger in a car driving through the woods of Oregon. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy your trip, Isa Sin. Not a problem at all if you can't stay through it. This is a little story-based, but I'm taking my time going through the story, so I don't think you're going to miss too much. What you want to know is, why is the future always dirty? You are not looking forward to the uncleanly years to come. Well, at least in this one is justified, because there has been a war and a plague, and I suspect the Class A apartments look a lot nicer in the future. But there's actually Neil Stevenson is one of the authors that's been talking about this. But there's sort of a general feeling that if you look at sort of Arthur C. Clarke style science fiction and the like, you have these very optimistic sorts of views of the future. Or at the very least, like, you have these things that inspire wonder, even like Star Trek, right? Like, Star Trek clearly has had an influence on the kind of technology that we take for granted today in the Jetsons. Like, iPhones and iPads work the way that they do partially because people were inspired by those kinds of stories, as silly or as corny as it sounds. And now we just have, you know, this horrible postmodern, the future always sucks. And I mean, that's not a bad thing. Literature is a great way to sort of deal with social problems that, you know, you can put on that layer of speculative fiction and say, you know, I'm going to talk to you about a problem that maybe you wouldn't, like, you know, if I were to sit down and I were to tell you, you know, guys, I hate to break it to you, but socialism is the way. Immediately, a certain number of people are going to just put up their defenses, and they're not going to listen to it, even if it was the most convincing. Like, if it was a slam dunk argument that completely demolished any other, you know, any other contending system. And likewise, you know, I could turn around and I could say, it's like, guys, an unrestricted free market is the only way that we're going to progress as a society. And again, immediately the guards go up. But once you start talking about some other world and you put masks on things, all of a sudden people are a little bit more willing to listen to the idea. So it's a vehicle which has allowed us to do a lot of really interesting stories. But the challenge is that it's maybe not had the same level of inspiration. And where in the past you can sort of look at science fiction and you can see us, you know, achieving things and going to the moon and just generally hoping, we don't have the same kind of science fiction happening. Apparently, Stevenson's most recent solo novel, I think Seven is supposed to deal with that, but.
Miss Nader? I'm with the KPD. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Mrs.
Excuse me?
Mrs. Nader.
All right. Mrs. Nader.
What do you want?
Ma'am, is everything all right in there? Are you in some kind of danger?
You tell me, officer. I heard the alarms go off. Are the cleaners on their way? Are any of us safe?
The lockdown seems to be a malfunction. I don't think we're looking at an outbreak here.
Well, I'm sure the other tenants will be glad to hear that.
But not you?
No, officer. Not me.
Have you made any calls in the last hour?
No, I have not.
Could you check your compass for connections? Somebody may have used it as a proxy.
I don't have a compass.
No compass? I thought pretty much everyone had one at this point.
Well, you thought wrong. I don't have any implants of any kind.
If you don't mind my asking, do you live alone?
Yes, I do mind, and yes, I live alone.
No spouse or daughter?
Didn't you hear me? I said it was just me.
Then why did you insist on being called Mrs.?
I'm a widow. My wife died many years ago, in the plague.
Sorry to hear that. Is that why you don't have any implants?
Yes. Want to see the scar tissue on my face and neck? It's quite an embroidery. The little monsters really outdid themselves. Or do I have to show you what's left of my arm? Would that satisfy your curiosity?
Mrs. Nader, I'm just doing my job.
Yes, I've heard that one before. When the cleaners took my Laura away, one of them turned to me and said precisely that. I never saw her again. Not even the body. It's like she never existed.
I'm not like that.
No? Oh, so you don't work for the corporation? The very same people who took everything I ever had?
Just because they pay me doesn't mean they own.
Well, isn't that a pretty thought? You best get on with your duties, officer. I'm sure you have your hands full.
So long, Mrs. Nader. Helena Novak it is.
All right, 104. That's a fun story. Uh-oh. Oh, God! Looks like the game crashed. An Unreal process has crashed. UE4 The Observer. We are very sorry that this crash occurred. Our goal is to prevent crashes like this from occurring in the future. Please help us track down and fix this crash by providing detailed information about what you are doing so that we may reproduce the crash and fix it quickly. You can also log a bug report with us at AnswerHub and work directly with support staff to report the issue. Thank you for helping to improve the Unreal Engine. See, one of the challenges too, like, I don't believe, so in response to the tendency that people have to sort of prejudge some information from a source. So, you know, let's hear this again.
The year is 2084. If they told me what the world would become, I would not have believed them. First, there was the nanophage, the disease of transition. A digital plague that swept across the land, killing thousands upon thousands of augmented souls. A heavy cost for meddling with our minds and bodies. Then came the war, the big one. The great decimation. The West killed the East killed the West. There were no winners. Except for Kaiwa. The corporation seized power and forged the Fifth Polish Republic, a crooked empire of blood and ash. There was no one left to oppose them. But still, we endured, and so it goes. The rich get richer as the poor rot away in their hovels, desperately looking for ways to escape reality. I am what they fear, a corporate tool of oppression. A despised leech that creeps into your dreams and feeds off your fears. If you don't remember, if you won't remember, that's when they call me. To access you, to gather evidence, to dredge up whatever's hiding in the darkest corners of your mind. My name is Daniel Lazarski. I'm an observer.
As much as I'd love to go from new game and show you all the Nine Inch Nails video again. Uh-oh. Well... that's a problem. I'm going to try one more time, and then I am going to look and see if there is I'm going to look and see if there's a report for this. Again, fine voice acting work by Rutger Hauer. No disrespect to him, but I need to see if my game's gonna crash or not. A headless corpse laid in apartment 007. Unable to identify the victim, Dan assumed the worst, but the murder seemed to have been committed before Adam's distress call. Clinging to hope, Dan heads back into the building's twisted hallways to find out what has happened to his son. First order of business, to find the woman who called the victim. Her initials are HN. Well, we're pretty far back. Okay, cool. Alright, so the stuttering's causing me some worries. I'm just going to do a couple of quick diagnostics on my computer, so this is all good. Let me just take a look at what my memory's doing. I've been having some problems. Yeah, my RAM is... So, this has been happening for a while. My RAM just goes up to like the memory usage. I've got 16 gigabytes inside here, but it always winds up peaking to 99%, and like it holds there. And I'm not able to... like I usually just need to reset my computer. I don't know what is causing it, but I've never found a solution. Definitely not crazy about that fact. So usually what that does is over time it will decrease the performance of games. I should be able to get by with this. We'll probably have little stutters every once in a while. But clearly something's going wrong with my computer. I've never solved it, but hey, Endors. So we weren't able to get through this one. I mean, I can just fully reset the computer, but that does mean that I'm going to have to turn off the stream. Usually reset's pretty straightforward.
Dan Lazarski, KPD. Routine questioning.
Daddy, who is it? Can he make the door open? When can we go out, Daddy?
Shh. Go to your room, kids. Go play Runaway Galaxy. Let me talk to the man. Hello, officer. I'm Thaddeus Karski, head of the family. How can I help you?
Listen, have you seen anything questionable going on around here?
Apart from the usual, you mean?
The usual?
Well, you know, this place isn't exactly a beacon of morality. Still, we mustn't judge. Most people mean well. They're just misguided.
This dude's totally a murderer.
Everything all right in there? Did the lockdown spook the kids?
Oh, no, we're fine. I do appreciate your concern, though.
You sound very calm. You're not worried about a potential outbreak?
Oh, that doesn't concern us, officer. Of course, I hope that's not the case, for the sake of the other tenants.
What do you mean, it doesn't concern you?
We're all clean of corruption. My wife, myself, and the little ones.
Clean? Oh. You're immaculates.
Children of the Immaculate Birth, yes. You've heard of us. All good things, I hope.
Well, I've never been called to a crime scene where one of your kind was involved. That's good enough for me.
Our kind? I see. Do you take offense to our way of life, Officer Lazarski?
No, but it must be hard on the whole family.
No one said life would be easy.
Well, I'd have to say, no mods of any kind. That's quite a statement these days.
Is it really? Is having a neural connection to the web worth renouncing your humanity? Is a body held together with screws and wires really worth a corrupted soul?
Some would say there are benefits.
Certainly. I know our lives will be shorter and less comfortable. But it's a price we're willing to pay for experiencing the purity of our God-given bodies.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of implants, but I couldn't do what I do without them.
Yes, you carry them within you.
It wasn't really a choice, you know?
Oh, but clearly it was. The world would be a better place if more people realized that.
I get so many options to say this one.
You're not gonna get preachy on me, are you now?
Too late.
I apologize, officer. That certainly wasn't my intent.
How do you make a living anyway? Not many jobs left that don't require some basic augmentation.
We're a close-knit community, officer. We help each other out, as one should.
All right, if you say so, Mr. Karski.
Godspeed, Officer Lazarski.
I can be like a total edgelord and come up with like some atheist response to him. Atheist speed to you, Mr. I don't too good to have by I fucked it up. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is the room where the door slams on me. Oh my god! I really do like this idea, by the way, of like just getting locked in somewhere and having the robot do the modification. I don't know if there's supposed to be some significance to that, but I just like little things. Like, stuff goes wrong in the world all the time, and it's just sort of nice that, you know, when you have a game and, I don't know, like, stuff sticks or doesn't work properly. Like, so this is an environment, right? Like, you know, leaky pipe, so on and so forth. You don't really interact with it. Everything that you do, like the gun doesn't jam, or every TV set that you turns on the first time you push the button, rather than, you know, some older sets which require a couple of hits of the button or something like that. Or, you know, nobody makes a typo whenever they're typing inside of a game. All things like that. But I don't know, like, details like that to me sell a world. And when you're making a game like this, which relies so much on atmosphere and being invested in it, like I said, there's the jump scare that legitimately took me. It was because I felt safe, because I was sitting in a room playing a game, and I thought the game would be sort of on hold while I waited for that. And yet as soon as I step away from the computer, there's something waiting for me. So it's just this idea that the world has sort of progressed while I've gone by, and all of a sudden there's something I didn't expect to be there. It was a really effective moment. I feel like I got turned around. Yeah, so here's 106.
Miss Nader, I'm with the KPD. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Mrs.
Excuse me?
Mrs. Nader.
All right. Mrs. Nader.
What do you want?
Ma'am, is everything all right in there? Are you in some kind of danger?
You tell me, officer. I heard the alarms go off. Are the cleaners on their way? Are any of us safe?
The lockdown seems to be a malfunction. I don't think we're looking at an outbreak here.
Well, I'm sure the other tenants will be glad to hear that.
But not you?
No, officer. Not me.
I didn't know you didn't have a cell phone, by the way, Ponce.
Have you made any calls in the last hour?
No, I have not.
Could you check your compass for connections? Somebody may have used it as a proxy.
I don't have a compass.
No compass? I thought pretty much everyone had one at this point.
Well, you thought wrong. I don't have any implants of any kind.
If you don't mind my asking, do you live alone?
Yes, I do mind, and yes, I live alone.
No spouse or daughter?
Didn't you hear me? I said it was just me.
Then why did you insist on being called Mrs.?
I'm a widow. My wife died many years ago, in the plague.
Sorry to hear that. Is that why you don't have any implants?
Yes. Want to see the scar tissue on my face and neck? It's quite an embroidery. The little monsters really outdid themselves. Or do I have to show you what's left of my arm? Would that satisfy your curiosity?
Mrs. Nader, I'm just doing my job.
Yes, I've heard that one before. When the cleaners took my Laura away, one of them turned to me and said precisely that. I never saw her again. Not even the body. It's like she never existed.
I'm not like that.
No? Oh, so you don't work for the corporation? The very same people who took everything I ever had?
Just because they pay me doesn't mean they own me.
Well, isn't that a pretty thought? You best get on with your duties, officer. I'm sure you have your hands full.
So long, Mrs. Nader. Helena Novak it is.
So I worked for Danny Novak for a while. And he was Polish. Alright. Deep breath, chat. Are we gonna crash? No, we're good. I have never experienced aggressive polity. I've never experienced aggressive Polishness. A lockdown is death sentence. That is not a death sentence. Oh, cool.
Hey! You! I can hear you out there! Help me, please!
It's Walter White.
What's wrong, sir?
Oh, I heard this awful noise. What's going on?
There's been a lockdown.
A lockdown? No. Oh, God, please, not today.
Well, what's so special about today?
I was scheduled to undergo a medical procedure. It's a private matter. I'd rather not talk about it.
Suit yourself.
In fairness, I didn't want to talk about my penis enhancement, the reduction surgery, either.
Are you okay? Sounds like you're in pain.
Oh, it's fine. I'm just... I got a condition. I'm waiting to have it fixed.
Anything I can do?
Sure. If you're an expert in corrective surgery.
Told you.
Sir, I'm wondering if you've seen anything suspicious lately.
I haven't seen anything in over 40 years.
Ah, that's your condition.
I really don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Fine, I won't waste your time then.
Wait, I did hear something. Quiet footsteps, deliberate, heavy breathing, angry, not hiding, hunting.
Anything else?
The smell. It seemed oddly familiar. Reminded me of my childhood.
Your childhood?
Yes, my family lived outside the city with all manner of creatures. When it would rain, the smell would be similar.
Hello, Vanguard Master. And funny you should mention that, Woman D Wonder Dog. Did you all know that if you subscribe this month, you get half off? And that is the half that Twitch takes that's going off. So, that $2.50 is all going straight into my pocket. What will you get for the $2.50? Absolutely nothing. I still even have the default Streamlabs emote. You are expending that $2.50 purely to enrich me and show the world that you have the kind of money that allows you to set that on fire. So, don't delay, sub today. Alright, and oh, okay, well, Permacharm instead. Your beauty forever. Permanent eyeliner produced and sold in Invase Ink. Literally nothing, Millie Thale. There are no emotes. There's a little recognition that you get, which is the default zombie running. All that you are doing is showing people that you have the wherewithal, that you are man or woman enough to burn money on my behalf.
KPD, I'd like to have a word.
It's about time you showed up. What the hell is going on?
Why are we under lockdown?
Most likely a malfunction. I'm still looking into it.
Well, you ain't looking in the right places. Because I don't know nothing.
Noticed anything suspicious or unusual? Other than the lockdown, I mean.
Well, the couple from 104 were making an awful lot of noise a while back. More than usual, I mean. The girl ran off, and then it got quiet.
Did you see where she ran off to?
I ain't one to snoop. But, judging by the footsteps, I'd say she ran down to the courtyard.
Anything else you can tell me about them?
What? The couple? Don't know them that well. The girl seems nice enough. Not sure about the guy, though.
What can you tell me about the guy?
Thank you, Billy.
I think he's called. He looks tough, but he's got the yellow eye, you know? Twitches like a junkie. Probably sells the shit, too.
How do you know that?
What, the dealing? I seen him sneak around during the night, carrying packages and stuff. I doubt he's the goddamn postman.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it, Vanguard Master. I've not really played it since I did a one-off with Johnny Big Time, though. So obviously I can't make any promises, but I'm certainly not opposed to firing it up again sometime. And thank you very much for that, Milithale. I really appreciate it. Guys, obviously when I say the sub stuff, that is largely tongue-in-cheek. I always love the support that I've gotten, and if you do want to show that, you can. I just want to be very clear that a lot of people put a lot of effort into their sub programs. I have done none whatsoever. I do not blame people for subbing and then unsubbing. I will try to get my act together on that, but I have no promises, no indication that that's ever going to happen. So.
What about the girl?
Oh, she's a trooper. Works double shifts at Chiron to support that ex-con asshole of a husband.
Any idea what she might be doing for them?
Can't be too important, or she wouldn't be living in this shithole. Explains the look on her face, though.
What do you mean by that?
Worn out, fidgety, jumping at shadows. Working for the corporation has that effect, I guess.
Does this kind of stuff happen often? You ever see the husband get violent?
Nah, he ain't a wife beater or anything like that. He's just messed up. Then again, ain't we all?
Anything else out of the ordinary? Anything at all?
Well, other than some asshole bringing animals into the building, I'd say that's pretty much it.
Animals?
Yeah, I could swear I heard something growling in the hallway earlier. I informed the janitor, but he'd lose the plot midway through the talk anyway.
Thanks. You've been very helpful.
That's new.
Anyone here?
God, it feels like, yeah, it crashed again. Okay, I'm sorry to do this. I know there's a lot of you here, but if this thing's going to keep crashing like this, I think the best thing for me to do is my usual thing, flush out the memory, see if we can do something about that. I'm just going to take a quick look at the diagnostic file, but honestly, at this point, oh my God. Yeah, that's not going to work. What about? Yeah, so it is definitely, it's definitely caused by the game thinking that I don't have any memory left to give to it. So the stream is going to go offline for just a minute. I will be back to finish the game. I'll probably like tag up the stream to say part B. Obviously, this usually means that I'm going to lose some hosts. I'm going to lose some people who are watching. So thanks for stopping by. But if you guys want to see some more Observer, I'll definitely do probably another hour for it or something like that. So just give me a quick minute to get myself sorted out, and we will be back for more of the game. See you in a bit.